Okay, my video this morning is more on biblical prophecy. And before I go into that, let me kind of set the stage a bit here. Here's my YouTube channel, and I've made a lot of videos in this, but I've taken down most of them. And generally I take a video down because it's so bad, it's too hard to fix. It's easier just to take it down and just do it over again, though it may take me a while to get around to doing that. So, and I have, on my YouTube channel, I have different topics I cover, like music, like just for fun, like secular music, jazz, or classical, or whatever. So I've lately got into AI music, AI-generated music, and playing with that. And wargaming, I'll look at that. I've done a lot on what I was calling UniML. It's a modeling language, a graphical modeling language. It doesn't use words and text like x equals y equals ax plus b, but it models it using symbols. And like I cover that in this video here, UniML. And UniML stands for Universal Modeling Language, not to be confused with UML, which is Unified Modeling Language, which is kind of similar, but they're totally different things. And so, but all these are kind of related to me because I kind of use the ontology model, a way to model thought and being a thinker. And then when you're a thinker, you tend to one would think, at least, you tend to think about things that people still haven't figured out. And if they still haven't figured it out after all these years and all the smart people out there, it probably means it's not easy to figure out. Otherwise, somebody already figured it out. So you're kind of always in the bleeding edge if you're a thinker, or at least one would think that to be the case. I remember a fellow engineer, we joke about, in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice. Well, at least in theory. And so in practice. And so ultimately, if something's right, it should be right, practically right, and in theory, but not the two sometimes disagree. And that's kind of related here. And it's related partly here because I've talked about, and I kind of alluded in this video, what I called mathematical theology. And by that, the math I'm really thinking about is the branch called topology, which is very interesting. And I use that here, like they have manifolds, and I had like manifolders, a little play on words there. So, and so before I jump into this, let me kind of show here. Here's my, you can see how these things come together, like AI, which I'm interested in. In fact, all of my channel has always been about AI, even before AI was a big deal. I remember back in the 70s when I was in school, like probably 77. I took a course in AI, a double E course. In fact, that's what I specialized in. And we had like, what do you call it? My memory failed me. Perceptrons, not perceptrons, or whatever. Can't even remember now. So I had a couple of courses in AI, did image processing, and we had, that was way back in the day, and a lot happened since then. But I've been interested in AI all along, and so like the music I've come up with, I would use, it wasn't AI generated, but it used computers like Band in the Box and things like that to help build it. So here's like a little bit of that. AI image.
Blessed is the one who does not fall.
So, and that's kind of a rural version. You know, it's like everyone who has breath, let them praise the Lord, whether you're college educated or you live out in the country or got it. And so regardless of education, it's more about character. But here's another version that's kind of more, a little more upscale. So, at any rate, this is just a segue into I'm going into prophecy, and also my interest in wargaming, because part of the thing of prophecy is there's the big element there. It's called spiritual warfare. So, and there's music. Music plays a part in this, like with the Psalms, because the Psalms, I'll get to that. All these are kind of related. So one might look at my YouTube channel and says it's all over the place. It's about war games and music and computers and AI and modeling languages and prophecy. What all these things have related. But in my mind, they're all kind of connected, because they're all different ways looking at the same thing. And so here I'm going to bring it together. So I'm going to my other Padlet thing on biblical prophecy. And topology, how is that applied? So let me open this up. Let me get a drink of my hot tea. In topology, like a manifold, you have a set of things. Like you can have on the table, you're a set of forks and knives and spoons and silverware. The table is the set, and you set things in the set, elements, like your silverware. And then you could have subsets, and that's the topology. Like you might have just the forks, just the spoons, just the knives. You might have placemats. You have the placemats, or napkins, or napkin rings. Those all could be subsets. So, and then you have relationships between the sets, and those are in the atlas. So there's like mappings. Like this fork is next to the spoon, or this other spoon is on the other side of the table. So that's what I apply to prophecy, and every time you do something in the Bible, it seems like you should have some sort of biblical permission to do so, or even admonition to do so. And one fundamental one is, don't, like in prophecy, don't add and don't subtract. So you just have to deal with what's on the table. You can't put things on the table or remove things from the table. So in this case, you can't take a fork off the table, nor can you put, say, a bowling ball on the table. You have to deal with what's on the table. But you can define those relationships, like the atlas. And those are kind of like connecting the dots. In fact, that's exactly what in UniML I do. Is if I went to that site, is it open? There's the black pearls there. Do I have that open already? I'm not going to open it. And by the way, a lot of times I don't bother to put the black pearls in. The black pearls connect the saltwater white pearls to the whitewater white pearls, or the other two white pearls. What are they? The bottled water and what's the other one I called it? I forgot. It's one that does state transitions. But anyway, and all that probably means nothing to if anybody's watching this, which I doubt. This means nothing to them. But the point I mentioned all this is, in my mind, it's all connected. And I do often leave out the black pearls, but those are connect the dots. And maybe I should show that here. Do I have that PowerPoint chart open? Yeah, here it is. So, here's the white pearls, and let me get the pen here. Get this big. I'll make this black. Wherever you see a teacup, there should have been a black pearl. That connects this to that. So where they have in common, so you go up here and you go over here. So there should have been a black pearl here. I just leave it out. So the black pearl connects the dots. Here's a dot, and there's a dot, and the crosswalk here and the swim lane cross here, and the black pearl connects them, and you read them counterclockwise. So if this was so here I have it the other way around. Here, black pearl would be down. This connects this to here. It'd be here, because you read it this way. This acts on that. This acts on that. So basically, in a UniML standpoint, I'm saying these white pearls are kind of what's on the table. It's what's in the Bible. What's in the prophecy. You can't add to them. You can't subtract to them. They're there. And they're all in the folder, the main body of the folder. Those are the elements of the set. The set is the Word of God. And here's all the, just not words, and you can build them up into sentences and things like that. So here are the relationships. And every one of these has a black pearl, one black pearl. The one black pearl might have many of these, because you might have x is greater than 2, x is greater than 4, x is greater than 5, x is greater than 6, x is greater than 7. Each one of those would be have a different bottled water white pearl, but it have the same one. Or in this case, it'd be different. They have their own saucer, but they'd have the same teacup, so they'd all be lined up here. So you kind of think, where you see a teacup, there's got to be a black pearl. It's kind of like the tea bag. You drop in the teacup, but you could have one tea bag that's dropped in multiple teacups. and this is really technical here, but I'm kind of having to do this because it's pertinent to what I'm talking about here. So let me go back to here. Nope, here. So that's what I mean by connecting the dots. Is this would be a white pearl, this would be a saltwater white pearl, this one, like the menorah. It might be a folder. Here's the menorah, and in that subfolder we have like a set, or the subset, or whether it's a set or subset, it's kind of relative. So the set would be the lamps on the menorah, and then here would be the elements of the set. And then you could define subsets, the topology, like the center one versus not the center. And then you could have the 3 on the left and the 3 on the right. You could have this one and this one is a subset, this one and this one is a subset, this one and this one. Or you could create crazy subsets like this one, and this node here, and the L. No, L, I won't do that. And then there's this idea of symmetry, the left-right symmetry. And there's nothing that imposes that, but in the scripture we see these patterns, like on the left hand is this, on the one hand there's this, on the other hand is that. That just seems to be, so that creates sort of a symmetry. And you can see here that there's a symmetry. So what you're seeing here is I'm taking this imagery and creating a topology that describes that imagery. And I haven't added anything. There's nothing I've added to this menorah that isn't there. And I'm assuming the drawing is, this model is accurate. The Hebrew Institute created it. So it's the best we could do, I guess. So that's important here to see what I'm trying to do here. A methodology. See, the methodology is key in this. And this is what makes it mathematical theology. It's not just use equations or somehow apply math. I'm actually applying topology, modeling the Word of God from a topological standpoint, not grammatical. Most theologians approach it grammatically or lingually, and might look at modal aspects here while I'm here. Dooyeweerd's modal aspects. Something I would have never heard of, but I worked with an engineer who knew the son of Dooyeweerd, who came up with this, and so he knew about it just from his own personal connections. Modal aspects. Let's see if I can find it. Aspects catalog. This might have it. If I had known I was going to talk about it, I already have it up. No, this is not it. Sorry. Go back. Try this one more time. Oh, I know how to do this. Weird. I can't spell that. Modal aspects. Okay. So here's the modal aspects. And the idea is that these things are not reducible. The higher aspects include the lower ones, but the lower ones don't include the higher ones. So it's kind of a way of modeling emergent properties. Like the quantitative is just discrete amounts, like numbers. And they're not real numbers. They're intervals. It's just like 1, 2, 5, 7, even 3.1.4, even rational numbers. The next one is spatial, like continuous space. So there you bring in the idea of real numbers. Kinematic is like you have the idea of change. Like time is kind of hidden in kinematics. Things are different, change with time. But kinematics sort of look at just there's change. Well, that kind of implies time because time is sort of the thing God made so everything doesn't happen at once. Then the physical is some sort of, we know what physical is. It's not virtual, it's actual. And then the biotic is life. And so we go down here to the lingual. Most theologians deal with prophecy at the linguistics level, which is fine, but I'm looking at it more up here at the analytical level, like mathematics, and the formative. Formative is kind of taking analysis is like you critique something. You don't, like a critic, a literary critic. They analyze, say, a novel. Formative is like the author who writes a novel. He creates something. So given that, mathematical theology, I'm approaching it from the analytical modal aspect. I'll go back to here. It's getting kind of hot here. I turn my fan off. So this sets this up as to where I'm coming from on here. And so then when you do this, that doesn't mean you don't look at words. Like we have these words, faith, love, and hope. And they form a set of three things. And so the question is, so we haven't added any dots or white pearls in this case. We haven't added any white pearls. These are already there in the Bible. We have this idea of faith, hope, love, and hope. And we put them together in a subset because they kind of, the text does that. And so then the question is, can we create some black pearls that link these together, connect the dots? And say with the menorah, and we see in the menorah, we have the subset, three subsets, things on the left, things on the right, and things on the center. And so mathematical theology doesn't say these three are connected with these three. It doesn't say these three are not connected with these three. What it says is these things could be connected to these three. And the reason I say that is that with God, if you assume that, take the premise that God knows everything, the future and the past, and is omnipotent, it's not going to escape his notice that there's this, you could make this connection. So if the Bible is silent on it, if it says it makes the connection, then that's one thing. Those are related. If it says they're not related, then you know it's not. But if it doesn't say either way, it could or could not. To say it doesn't, now you might say if it doesn't say it, then you assume there's no connection. But that's putting But the Bible doesn't say that. You just added something to the Bible. The Bible didn't say, whatever I say is, that's all you could take. You can't add to the Bible, but you can connect dots. In fact, it almost seems like you're encouraged to connect the dots, like Jesus, he said, destroy this temple, in 3 days I'll raise it. He wanted the listener to connect the dots. He wasn't talking about the physical temple, but the temple of his body. So I'm saying connecting the dots, if it's something you could say they could be related or they may not be. So how would you then decide which might be preferable, more likely? And you sort of have to look at how well the pieces fit. It's like putting pieces in a puzzle. Like these fit pretty good or they don't fit pretty good. Sort of a score there. So let's kind of look. And then before you do that, you sort of have to think, well, what are these things? Maybe they symbolize something, but like we see that the lamp symbolizes the Spirit of God. And then we read somewhere that there's the 7 spirits of God. Can I read that here? Yeah, Isaiah 11:2. The spirit of the wisdom and the spirit of the 7 spirits of, it's hard to read this. The 7 spirit, let me just go to here. Isaiah 11:2. Let me go here. So, this might be long. It's complicated, but there is a reason it's complicated, because I'm dealing with things that people hadn't figured out yet. And like I said, there's a reason they haven't figured it out yet, because they're hard. Okay, and I'm going to get to use my little Speechify. Come on. All right, I might have to read it myself.
The spirit of the El-Ord will rest on him, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and strength, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the of
the Lord. Okay, so I didn't read it perfectly well, but so we see there's spirit of wisdom, spirit of understanding, and now let's do a topology here. This is the set. And it doesn't say, it doesn't say there's 7 things in the set. It says, with this, take to be the set, and there's 3 subsets of 2. So that makes 6 things: spirit of wisdom, spirit of understanding, the spirit of counsel and strength, spirit of knowledge and fear of the Lord. But taken together, that's the 7th. And you think, well, that kind of sounds like this. Here's the Spirit of the Lord, which is one thing. It's kind of like the Trinity, 3 in 1, 1 in 3. The one thing is the Spirit of the Lord, the shaft. And then we have these 3 sets of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So so we find out this topology, they seem to be not isotropic, but iso something. I can't remember the word. The same form. So there's a 1-to-1 mapping between these. That's another way of saying it. So given that, we could say, well, maybe, and then how we assign it, I'm just going to assign it where the lower, this is lower, so I'm going up the scale. So we had the spirit of, first we had, coming out, the spirit of wisdom and understanding. Then we have counsel and strength or power. And that strength seems to be like moral strength, not just physical strength, like virtue, courage, persistence, perseverance, and things like that. And then knowledge and the fear of the Lord. And the fear of the Lord seems to be not servile fear, like God's going to whack me, but it's more servile, not servile, but what do you call it? Filial fear. It's like the fear of one that have one's father when it's a child. Hopefully, it's not servile and you're worried about being mistreated, but the knowledge that you're, or like my mother's always right. Well, mother's not always right, but as you're called, mother's usually right compared to you being a child. So it's that kind of fear. It's reverential fear. And it's the fear that things matter. It doesn't, you might say nothing matters, but people say nothing matters. I always say, okay, if nothing matters, can I have your keys to your car? He's like, no, I need my car. I thought you said nothing matters, So that's kind of a little contradiction in terms. So at any rate, so does the menorah does this stand for faith? This stands for hope. This stands for love. We don't know, but it could. And so what you do is you look and say, well, the pieces sort of fit. Let's see if they can make them fit even better by looking at more stuff. And so we look at faith, and he says, faith has to do with, or truth. Like you put your faith on someone who's flying an airplane. You think, do they really know how to? They say they know how to fly an airplane. They got a pilot's license, so that says they know how to fly an airplane. And the airline company hired them. So can I put a faith in that pilot really knows how to fly the airplane? I'm going to get on that airliner. Well, your faith is it true that this guy really knows how to, or woman, this crew knows how to fly the airplane? Then hope has to do with more goodness, and not ultimate goodness like happiness, but hope that if you exercise and that the things that lead to ultimate goodness, like health, like if you do exercises and you eat well, the hope is that will bring health and long life. And then love is the reason why things do matter. If you love life, you have preferences. You prefer not to be in pain than in pain. You prefer to be healthy versus unhealthy. So because you have love, then things do matter. Because if you love good health, but you don't exercise and you eat poorly, you may lose that health. You may lose the thing you love. So when I make this argument, I'm not adding anything to the Bible. I'm just connecting the dots and seeing what the topologies, and see what might map together and have black dots, or dots could be connected, and then seeing how well those pieces fit to see if it seems that there's a preponderance of evidence, not an ultimate proof. This isn't a proof. It's kind of like a courtroom. You have the preponderance of evidence. It says, oh, this seems kind of likely. And then you go look at other things to see if how well this hold up. And of course, you could abuse that and try to force fit a piece. That's in any puzzle. You kind of force the piece in there, and that really messes things up. So you don't want to really do that. So I spent a long time on this. I probably should make this multiple part. I just covered it. So here I go into more detail to look at, and you can't really see this here because it's just too small to read. But I also add the idea of the two olive trees to either side of it. So at any rate, you can't really read this. I think I could. So when you do this, you can kind of carry it on down. So here's where I build. This isn't a UniML model. This is sort of, but these, I kind of have my pearls not along the string, but I kind of have them, have what I'd call skywriting. I've skywrited them to a different form. You can kind of connect them all with a string if you want. And these kind of are the, so at any rate, it's very UniML friendly kind of thing. And so you can see I have the sets and subsets. So like here's the tree of life. It has 12 fruits. And so that's a set, a tree, and there's 12 fruits. And we see here we have 9, and I really wish maybe I could zoom in on this. It probably won't be visible, but I'll see if you can see it better. Not really. So I'm just going to go back to, but here there's 9 fruits of the Spirit. Oh, it's really hard to read this. Do I have it in my PowerPoint chart? Oh, I don't have that PowerPoint chart open, do I? No. So at any rate, let me go back to here. I wish that's a limit. I have a technical hitch. Whoops. Here. So you just have to trust me. There's also these things that called the fruits of the, I can't read my writing here. There it is. I can read it. That says the fruit of light. There's 3 fruits of light. And those are, let's see if I can read this. Okay. I can't read my writing here. So I'm going to let me end the video here. Kind of have to finish this on part 2. But I think that's truth. Oh, but at any rate, here I get 12 months, and then there's the leap month, Adar. So you're seeing I'm going from fruits to 2 subsets, the 9 fruits of the Spirit and the 3 fruits of light. Let me go, I can find them here. Fruits of light. Okay, fruits of light. Little improvisation here. I could pause, but fruits of light. That'll prove it's in here. And see, it's my proof that I haven't added anything. So did I add anything? Okay, didn't like that. I'm going to just, maybe just, okay, this is not working out very good. I want my regular NS. Okay, I'm going to have to end this. One last try. Light. That's not going to work. Okay. I'm going to have to end here. Because I've, all right. But at any rate, this was an intro to my methodology. I haven't gotten to the the topic of this, which was the mark of the beast. But so let me end here on this kind of low note. But it kind of catapulted me forward. I got the methodology kind of out of my way, so in my next video I'll kind of be able to better show this. Okay. And while I'm here, and you can, let me go for one more thing. Power. I don't think I'm going to find this. Let me just end here. And stay tuned for where I kind of pick up the thread where I lost it. And this has gotten long enough anyway. So at any rate, let me end here.